Hey there, my name's Jesse, and you're listening to the Deep Lore Boys podcast.
The amount of power that this dude would have had in the Middle Ages.
But unicorn blood can make people eternal.
And the gorilla whips out handcuffs. You're under arrest. So there's this cave. It's in Germany, right? It's in central Germany. And back in 1686, a fella named Gottfried, and I'm not even going to try to pronounce the rest of his name, Gottfried, went into this cave and was like, yo, there's some unicorn bones in this cave. And at the time, that was modern medicine. You know, unicorn bones, you grind them up. It could cure cancer and all kinds of stuff. So I think maybe he was trying to make money off of it. So then this fella named Otto goes and visits the cave and is like, yeah, there's some ancient animal bones in here. Don't recognize them. They're a little weird. Gotta be unicorns. And he gets these bones and is like, by golly, I think I've done it. I've reconstructed the unicorn. And if you look at the reconstruction of the skeleton at the zoo in Germany there, it's
pretty interesting.
It's pretty awesome. It is considered one of the worst fossil reconstructions in human history.
Yeah, I can
top
see
5
that.
At least.
There's no legs. Did they think that unicorns
Yeah, there are no
walking?
legs.
They only have 2 front legs. Did they think unicorns just walked on front legs?
This creature in the natural world would have been like one of the most horrifying organisms to ever encounter. Because firstly, it has no neck at all. So its head is just coming straight from between its front limbs. And then its horn is just sticking directly parallel and like right out of the spine. So all of this thing's running force would just be built up in that horn. Like there is no, like the horn is just a continuation of the spine running through the skull.
He's more or less a missile with a face and legs.
Yeah, that would be a better way to put that.
And the horn is so like, I've never pictured a unicorn horn being that long and that thin. Like it's it's
huge,
super thin, like pin needle. Like
there is no way that people saw this as a reconstruction and were like, yeah, he got that right. I love how Wikipedia doesn't even go far enough to say that it's that this is a skeleton. It uses quotation marks around the skeleton, so it's like, yeah, like a so-called.
Okay, I just googled worst fossil reconstruction, and of the 3 images that came up, 2 of them were pictures of this unicorn.
Oh, that's harsh.
That's pretty brutal.
Oh, that's funny. Okay, but at the point that you think that the bones in this cave are magical and they're going to cure all bodily ailments, yeah, unicorn might as well be 2-legged. I mean, I don't know. If that's what the fossils suggest, Matthew,
yeah, if that's what they say.
With the science?
You can't say no, okay? I think my favorite thing is that it doesn't have a rib cage. Those are just it's not pairs of ribs. It just has single ribs sticking through the middle. Like
it's not protecting the lungs, it's dividing them.
It's built like what's his name? Sebulba from Star Wars. That
the
guy who walks around on his arms. He's kind of cool. I want to see like a My Little Pony remake where they all look like this.
Please no.
I'm shocked he didn't just go for dragons. Like, he could have been like, I don't recognize this, dragon bones, but instead
he could have hyped it up.
Better. Because if it's a dragon in a cave, people are going to be like, oh, gotta stay out of there, but he's trying to get
people in. I guess you're right.
And dragon bones, I don't know what their medicinal value is. Like, I don't think they cure cancer.
Yeah, they do their own thing.
But unicorn blood can make people eternal.
What?
I did not. I thought you were doing something else.
What does become eternal? Does it just mean like
immortal?
Immortal. I'm sorry. That's
I feel like eternal is a weird word. Like it's just like you're not actually alive forever, but you persist. Like
right.
So according to the hit film Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, unicorn blood, if you drink it, can make its user immortal.
And that must be what these guys thought. That must be Gottfried's line of thinking.
Yeah.
So they're thinking, okay, so here's some bones. If we grind them up and eat them, we'll live forever.
They're going full-blown Death Eater out here.
What does anyone know what that is?
Is that a pig?
That's a fairy armadillo.
What is that?
That's a fairy armadillo.
What does that... What?
Look at it. He's so funky.
Of all the creatures I didn't know existed, that is one of them.
Yeah, I found out about them rather recently.
These are whimsical little guys. If you're listening right now, Google fairy armadillo. You're not going to regret it. I can't even put them into words. It's like a little... They do look like Pokemon.
Yeah, it's like a weird looking rodent, but it's got big digging claws, and like he looks like an isopod, like one of those
He's got,
roly-polies. Like,
It's likely that there are only 100 of them left in the wild.
aww.
What?
So they're almost extinct.
Jackson, what is an elasmotherium?
Oh,
Elasmotherium?
I know this guy.
Have you ever seen? How much of
Elasmotherium.
The Mandalorian have you seen?
Can I spoil it? It's been years.
Okay, so in episode 2, there's the Mudhorn.
Wait, you asked how much Mandalorian have you
It
seen?
drops through from episode 2.
You're like, okay, so you've seen past the second episode.
Yeah, I was thinking, like, have you seen The Mandalorian was probably a better option.
Oh,
but it
I would have just said yeah.
yeah, so the Mudhorn in Mandalorian is literally just this.
So this was an extinct group of large rhinoceros. They lived in Eastern Europe, Central Asia, East Asia during the late Miocene and late Pleistocene.
Pleistocene.
Yes.
Is when they're dating this guy. And
So-
he's known as the Siberian Unicorn.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to talk about him. And not because
Oh.
he looks like a Mudhorn, but because Siberian Unicorn, and then he also looks like a Mudhorn.
He's like the best combo of, I think, a rhino, a bear, and a buffalo.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
what
what
we're
I'm
getting
picturing.
here.
Like, he looks like I want to pet him, but I feel like if I do, I will be dead.
Estimated body mass of around 9,000 pounds, almost 10,000 pounds, comparable to an elephant.
That's a heavy guy. Yeah.
Now, here's the thing. No horn has ever been found. So, I
No
guess we
horn.
don't actually know how big his schnoz was, how much he
Yeah,
was
like-
packing.
if you go,
I thought they had found a horn.
dude, like if they had found one, they probably should have mentioned it somewhere on the wiki. Like all these pictures of him have horns, but like,
Yeah.
why are we just assuming that it has a horn?
I think it's because its neck is so muscular. They're like, well, he must have been carrying something.
Dude, look at his skull right there on that photo. He's got like that big bony bump. You're telling me that alone isn't enough to knock somebody out? Like he has
Oh,
this
yeah,
sturdy neck.
spines.
Like look at he's built, bro.
He is built.
You do not want to mess with this guy. That's all I'm saying.
Nuh-uh.
So yeah, I always forget this. A rhino horn is not bone. Like it's not going to preserve the same way, which is why I guess they never found it. Because
It's like hair, right?
yeah, it's keratin that's like so tightly packed and woven that like it ends up becoming a horn type of thing.
There's evidence that it had one because there's a circular dome on the forehead with a 13 centimeter deep furrowed surface. So it's basically what we would expect to find if it did have a horn. So we're like, I'm pretty sure. Plus, he's got like giant muscles on his back for no reason, which are thought to have supported the heavy horn.
Yeah, and also just like skull wise and all of like his other structures, he's very similar to, or they are very similar to rhinoceros.
Dude, I've been wondering this for a long time. Okay, you ever look at a rhinoceros, or like a rhino, and you just think like, what? Like, like
All the
I don't
time,
know.
dude.
I don't know, man. Like like you look at a cow or a sheep or something, you're like, yeah, you know, it's just shit, whatever. And you see an elephant, and you're like, that's kind of weird. But then like I look at a rhino, and I'm just like, okay, like how?
Yeah.
Like,
Where did
like-
this come from?
Like,
Now,
who
I
are
feel like-
you? Like,
I feel like elephants are so much weirder. I'm gonna be
oh, they're
honest here.
super weird, but elephant, like, they're weird, but they're iconic and everyone knows them. But like a rhino is like normal enough that it shouldn't really stand out, but it's just weird enough that you're like, oh,
Elasmotherium, if you go on the Wikipedia and scroll down to the dentition section, they have a cast of its skull. And it looks like the troll face.
Oh,
It looks like an ancient meme.
no.
do you guys remember
Dude, he
that?
does.
Look at that.
The
It totally
French-
does.
Do you guys remember the French crystal skull from like 2 years ago?
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Dude,
Yeah,
how could I forget?
That's what that
man?
looks like. That like the first thing that I thought when I saw that is I'm like, it looks like that creepy French crystal skull.
We
Dude,
should
I'm
ship
telling
that to the Smithsonian and see if they put it up in the display.
These guys here, talk about whimsical creature here. So just dropping that there.
Oh, is that an armadillo beaver?
Oh, I love them.
Barmadillo?
Barmadillo.
For audio
know.
listeners, this is just it's a beaver armadillo. Like, imagine all the best parts of those two put together. That's what we got.
It's basically like a walking tank. Like,
Yeah. Oh, here it is. This picture of like cavemen trying to hunt them. These guys were massively huge. This is one of my favorite paintings of all time, though. Like, it's, like, dude, remember what we lost, man? Like, why?
Oh my gosh, he looks like prehistoric chill guy is the energy I'm getting from him.
Yeah,
that's
the thing. Like, they're so cool, dude. Like,
also in the picture, he's wearing more than the people are. Like,
yeah, I know. Like, I love how the fossils are just like a giant like ball.
I do like that.
Like, it's...
What do you think they did with them when they like hunted him? Could he turn the shell into like a house and like a shed? Put your lawnmower in there?
Because they're so like, I feel like you totally. If I'm living in the Ice Age, right? I'm cold, and I see one of these guys. My first thought is like, house. Like, you can. Here, I'll post this
shelter.
Like, straight up, man. Like, here,
well, do you think that? I mean, maybe it's because I've seen Ice Age and the shell floats in that. But do you think these things would have floated?
Because they would have floated?
No, that would have made a really awesome boat. Like,
I mean, the shell maybe. Oh wow, that's really big compared to the
like,
guy.
Yikes. They're big boys. Like, I don't know.
Boys.
And these guys lived
bussin'
like super recently.
Well, I had no idea this animal existed. Thank you, Matthew, for bringing this whimsical creature to my attention. Now I'll cry into my pillow because they're extinct.
I know, and this is paleontology is the most painful science ever.
Look at what we've lost.
All it is literally just saying, like, yeah, you could have had this, but you can't. Cry about it. Like, this.
Well, it's not even just that. It's then trying to figure out the taxonomy of everything, and then also going far enough to just be like, oh yes, the Miocene, the Eocene, the Pliocene. Like, at least in the like dinosaur era, you know where stuff lived.
I don't think y'all know where this guy comes from. That's a weird animal.
He looks like he still needs like time to be cooked. Like, he looks like he was taken out too soon.
He looks like he knows Victoria's Secret.
The 1,000-yard stare. Like, for those listening in that don't understand what's going on, Matthew is sending us like the creepiest pictures of eyes and tarsiers that are just
the most absurd monkeys that you didn't think were real.
No, it's slow loris.
They look undercooked. Like, they look underdone. I don't even know how to describe it. Like,
I can't help but be interested, Jackson, in a gorilla with a badge helps capture smugglers.
So yeah, in 1993, there were animal traffickers that were they were trying to smuggle a gorilla to Mexico from the Miami Zoo, and the Fish and Wildlife Service and the FBI, they were like, well, we got to stop this. Like, we can't be having this.
I hate monkeys in general. I don't trust them, and even I am not pleased with these Miami smugglers.
I don't understand.
How much does a gorilla go for?
That's what I like. How do you not only smuggle the gorilla, but then find a gorilla buyer and like get it to him and be like, yeah, we got your gorilla. Here he is. And they're like, let's go. I've been waiting all day for this. Like,
I guess at the Toluca Zoo in Mexico, their gorilla died, and the governor of the state of Mexico was a very powerful individual, and he wanted a replacement quick. So I don't know if he hired these gorilla nappers or if they were just some guys who thought, oh, we can make a buck off of this if we offer the gorilla to the governor. But either way.
But it's illegal to send the animals without proper documents and permits. So they just ended up stealing a gorilla. They were trying to fly him from the Opa-locka airport.
From the U'u'a'a airport?
From the Opa-locka. It looks like
no way. Where did they get the gorilla at Miami?
The Miami Zoo.
Where did it come? Wait, they stole it from the zoo?
Maybe they're going to ransom him because it's a zoo, and they can be like, we have Hector the gorilla. You've got to let him go, or he will be the next Harambe.
They thought that they were going to steal this gorilla, and it ended up being that the Fish and Wildlife Service and the FBI had already been tipped off about this plan. They were like, well, we need to like get them involved in the crime. Like, we can't just...
You can't arrest them before the crime happens.
Yeah, but they didn't want to use a real gorilla because they were like, this is dangerous, and it could be harmful to the gorilla. We don't know. Like, we don't know how
the gorilla
treat
could literally kill all of us for no reason.
That's something you don't want to mess around with that if you don't have to.
Instead, the FBI agent decided to dress up in a gorilla suit and basically enter into the zoo or whatever, like,
Oh no.
Wait a second. Yeah. So
Wait, was he
Metro
going
Zoo
in with
curator-
the gorillas?
It looks like it was just one cage. It was just one gorilla in this cage. So Miami Metro Zoo supplied a cage for the phony gorilla. And he said that he never believed that the suspects would fall for the $92,500 sting. This is in 93, so like this is like probably twice that now. This is like $200,000.
I mean, yeah, smuggling a gorilla is going to go for a lot of money, I'm sure.
So they stuck this FBI agent in a gorilla suit, put him in the cage.
And they delivered him at the airport. I guess to middlemen. That was when the arrest happened. So they did like try to buy this gorilla.
Imagine they get to the airport, right? And you've got the bandits standing there, and you've got the guys that are about to do the trade, and like, hey, show us the goods. And the feds bring out the cage with the gorilla, and he's like, ooh, It's like, all right, looks good. And then the gorilla whips out handcuffs and slaps it on him. You're under arrest.
Dude, now I'm thinking, can you imagine? Okay, gorilla at the airport. Can you imagine, here, just for a second, they like put like explosives on the cage or the crate or whatever he's in. They like rig away to like detonate it so he can escape.
Right, it blows the locks
this agent
off.
in here, and it blows open the door, and he just like runs free. And
Dude.
So it looks like this was not the
he
only.
could have gone off.
This was
man.
not the only disguised agent involved. It looks like there were other fish and wildlife experts, and maybe this was where the FBI was involved.
They have like a whole zoo there.
They were dressing up as animal traffickers, I guess, or disguising as animal traffickers as well. And they also made sure to go out of their way to state that it was illegal to get the gorilla, and that there was a legal way to do this, and that you needed a permit.
Yeah.
And they said it was very clear, and they still bought it anyway and tried to bring it to the airport, and then they were like, nope.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess the team said, we are providing you with false permits. Are you sure you want these false permits? And they were like, see.
So it was basically, there is no excuse for this at this point.
Yeah,
it wasn't like
they weren't innocent.
They didn't know how to do it. It was like, just so you know, this is illegal. This is bad. There's a good way to do this.
Okay, wait a second. The Mexican bandits, the wet bandits here, they weren't even bandits. These weren't like hitmen. They were Mexican zoo officials.
Oh.
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing. They were just people working for the zoo.
But they were going to do it illegally. They weren't going to like jump through all the hoops of having the paperwork and stuff.
Ew.
So they literally just
Like,
reached out and were like, hey, can we buy your gorilla? I just can't believe that they put like an actual dude in there. Wait. Oh my gosh. Matthew, no, this actually happened. They let him out of the crate.
Yeah, wait, no, I'm seeing. Yeah.
Okay.
The zoo chief freaked out. He screamed, he ran, he tried to jump off the plane.
Oh my gosh, they really did let him out of the crate.
Holy crap, yeah, they just...
I mean, you might as well have fun
they
with
just
this.
opened the crate and got him.
So the Mexican zoo chief was Victor Bernal. We'll just call him Victor. He freaked out, he screamed, he ran, tried to jump off the plane.
Dude, this was while the plane was landed. Okay, the plane hadn't taken off yet.
Oh, so he was just gonna...
So he wasn't gonna just like end his life there. Like that wasn't...
Oh, okay, it wasn't a suicide attempt.
He didn't know they were police. He just saw that the gorilla got out of the crate, and he started screaming, running, and tried to immediately get off the plane. There's no reason to scream when you meet a gorilla. Like, there is no recorded instance of them ever killing a human being, and if you scream, you're just going to scare them too. Like, they've never killed anybody. Like, it's not going to do that.
It's one of those things where it's like, actually, if you scream and freak out, that's probably a better chance of them getting aggressive.
Yeah, that's going to
scare
scare the gorilla, and it's not going to know what's going on. Like, it's going to freak out. And so his reaction, instead of like, okay, let's get, my other guys on board and let's see if we can get this gorilla back to bed and put him back in the cradle. Let's figure it out. No, his first reaction is to scream, run around, and try and jump out of the plane, leave everybody else in here with the gorilla, and just like figure it out. Like,
so I guess the agents kept yelling and like trying to grab him and say, we're police, and the agent took off the gorilla mask, but he still didn't stop running around. Victor was just so psyched.
Couldn't believe. Yeah, even after he took the hood off, he couldn't believe a gorilla wasn't coming after him. Like,
that's crazy.
In another article I'm reading, its top headline is just federal officials reported that apparently the agent was fairly proficient in ape-like sound effects, and
okay,
it was a very good costume.
He studied for this role. I imagine in the conference room at the police station, they're like, Hey, Roy, do that ape sound again. Guys, I got a funny idea.
He's like,
What
guys,
if?
hold up. You have to know, like, leading up to this, they had to have been so excited. Like, they
Oh,
had to
yeah.
have been pumped.
And this is like the perfect reaction. This is exactly what you want.
Dude, I love how the Miami Zoo curator is just like, yeah, this isn't going to work, guys. There's no way they're falling for this. Like, this isn't going to happen. And lo and behold, they fell for it. And afterwards, he literally said, like, I didn't know people could be that stupid. Like, it's,
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
You guys want to talk about Theo Jansen?
What did he do?
It's called Strandbeest. Just Google like Strand.
Oh, I
Beast.
see.
It's just with 2 E's.
Oh, he invented like those chairs.
Oh, they're bigger than chairs.
Is that what it is? Oh, I
It's-
see.
So, for those of you who don't know what a Strandbeest is, I'm sure we can put some up on screen. They're really weird. I think he makes them out of like PVC pipe, fabric, airfoils, and zip ties are usually his that's what he
Yeah.
builds them with. So
And
these are not
they give like really complicated looking skeleton vibes or founding titan. And if you know, you know. And so these things, they're not just like statues, they're moving creatures.
So they're a super complex structure of just a ton of different pipes kind of interlocking at points, and they all have sails on them. And basically the idea is that he builds them and he brings them to a beach where there's a lot of wind, and yeah, the wind pushes the sails, and as it pushes the sails, it gets things turning, gets things moving, and these giant structures made of pipe and zip ties just walk on their own.
I'm actually going to put a video on screen because they're super cool.
They're so mesmerizing to watch. Like, they're so weird.
And each of them, from what I see, have they have names.
Yeah, he names all of them.
So like his
there.
most recent one is called Volantum.
Yeah. So Volantum period is a burly strand beast made in 2020. It has 36 legs.
Man, they're so cool.
Look up the
Like-
rigid preparans. I sent the name to the Discord. This thing is crazy. I'll put a video of it on screen, but if you're just listening, think like an actual moving, like a beetle or a roly-poly, but it's huge and its face is a propeller. So wind blows the propeller and then it just crawls and it's massive. Like it's mammoth-sized. I can't even count how many legs there are. Maybe 12?
Yeah.
So cool.
And my favorite thing about it is, like, when you think of the Netherlands and the Dutch, like, the first thing people think of a lot of times is just windmills, right? Like, they think about it all the time. And now, like, the windmills are walking. Like,
The windmills are moving.
Like, he's turned them into it's so cool. I think the coolest thing about them to me is not just how cool they look, but the fact that they are objectively super, super simple. Like, somebody in the Middle Ages could have cooked this up and built it with ease. It's just the fact that when it comes down to it, the materials required for it are stuff anybody can get for super cheap. This is not going to cost you that much. This is super doable. But the skill and expertise that goes into making one
The sheer
is something
math.
that I don't know that anybody besides Theo Jansen will ever do.
Jansen is quoted as saying, "The walls between art and engineering exist only in our minds." That goes hard.
He's straight up right. That's
He even
Man.
he even named like evolutionary periods of the Strandbeests
yeah.
that he had,
Oh yeah, he's got a whole ecosystem and like ecology for them.
which is amazing.
He's not just building these things and just like, oh yeah, this is Mark 7. He's like naming them and coming up with a history, a genealogy. He's world building here.
He actually, I was watching an interview with him, and he said that he like envisions a world one day where he can make self-replicating strand beasts that eat each other and live on their own. And he's like, I want to build a whole like ecosystem of them.
Oh my god.
It's like, man, like, I have no idea where to even start with that, but I want you to succeed so much. Like,
I hope that maybe one day I can go on a safari in the Netherlands and see the strand beasts. in
I
their
mean, that's what I'm
natural
thinking is,
habitat.
like, if he succeeds in his goal and he's just able to let them wander on their own, like, you already know that nobody, especially in the Netherlands, is going to come by and destroy them. Like,
Yeah.
anybody that does that is going to get it. Like,
Well,
no
we
one's
would
gonna
have
let
like a
that happen.
hitchbot disaster if we just let him go in
That's what I'm
America.
thinking,
Although
yeah,
I
can you
am seeing that
imagine?
he apparently did a tour in America. I don't know how he transported these things, but he apparently did take one to Chicago for like an art exhibition and had it walk along, I guess, the shore of Lake Michigan.
Well, Jansen, okay, so everything this guy says is gold. He starts this quote with like the hardest sentence I've ever heard. I make skeletons that are able to walk on the wind. Ouch.
Yeah,
And then
that's
he
it.
then he
Dude.
continues and says, over time, these skeletons have become increasingly better at surviving the elements such as storms and water. And eventually, I want to put these animals out in herds on beaches so they will live their own lives.
Dude.
And like he has a vision. I don't know quite
That-
how advanced realistically they can get, but he wants to make these like
But can you imagine?
animals.
Like, I'll be real here. Can you imagine he builds a herd of these things and they're fully capable of just doing their own thing? And then when the wind blows, they walk around on the beach and do their own thing. And then when the wind dies, they stop and they just like walk at random, just go in their own place. As long as they stay contained to that area, like they can go wherever the wind takes them. Like that's such
Literally
a
wherever the
cool-
wind takes them.
They're saying some of them are reported to store wind power. I don't know how they would store it.
Ooh.
But apparently other ones have primitive logic gates so that they don't walk into the ocean.
His more
How?
sophisticated creations are able to detect when they've entered water and stay away from it. One is capable of anchoring itself to the earth if an approaching storm is sensed.
They are also able to store air pressure in order to propel themselves in the absence of wind.
Oh man.
What? Like,
Yeah, and it's all kinetic, like no
Dude.
computers, no motors.
yeah, this is all just purely PVC, cloth, and zip ties.
This makes me feel how dumb I am, like that I could never
Yeah.
even begin
No,
to.
that's the thing. Like, I
create
feel like
this.
this guy is just simply on another level. Like, we're never going to get close to understanding the capabilities that this guy has. Like, it's just so cool.
These things are so amazing. And I also will just say that, like, we can do a lot with just math and engineering. I mean, for not me, but just some people
I
who are
cannot do a
smart
lot with
enough
math and
That's-
engineering.
can do a lot with that without needing, like, robotics or other things like that. Like, we can do a lot of things with just simplistic designs.
Showing us what can be done if we used 100% of our brains. You thought that you could make objects levitate and stuff like in Matilda? No, you just build Strandbeests and set them loose in the Netherlands.
Can you imagine the amount of power that this dude would have had in the Middle Ages?
He would have been an actual wizard.
They would have burned him at the stake, unfortunately.
Yeah, they probably would.
You think they burned people for being too smart? I mean, I know in some cases, but only when you like contradicted the church.
This probably wouldn't unless they were like, he's trying to create life. He thinks he's God.
Yeah, I could see them being like, oh, demon-possessed PVC. That's what we
Yeah,
got
like-
going on here.
Imagine you build one and it's like 1,000 feet tall and it can just walk and it'll just walk over people's houses and just walk over anything. And like if it's sturdy enough and it's able to move, like what's it gonna get stuck on? Like it's just
Wouldn't
gonna
that-
keep on. Like,
Yeah, wouldn't that eventually be like a natural disaster? Because it would just
Yeah,
end up
like-
running over like your crops, and it doesn't know.
dude, yeah,
You
that's
know, it's
like,
just-
can you imagine? I kind of want to get together and just build the largest possible monstrosity we can and then just set it loose and just like,
Imagine, you're in your post-nuclear settlement, huddled around the remnants of what was once the Georgia Guidestones. You've just finally, it looks like you're going to have a good potato harvest this year, which is good because you can't survive another winter. And then your buddy comes running over the hill, screaming, and you run toward him because you can't hear what he's saying. And then you finally make out the first word, Strandbeest. And you look behind him, and rising over the
man.
hill comes a mile-wide collection of moving legs and PVC
Dude.
spokes.
That's like the legs look mesmerizing enough as they go, but they're also so close together that it just looks like a wall of movement. By the time this thing gets a mile wide, like it's just gonna look like a wall of stuff just coming at you. Like there's nothing you're gonna do to stop it. Like
You're cooked. Hey again, it's Jesse. Hope you enjoyed this episode of the Deep Lore Boys podcast. If you did, leave a like, leave a review, subscribe for more episodes, share it with a friend. You know the stuff. Thanks for listening, and I hope your day is nothing short of interesting. Take care.
I'm gonna go post that one on twitter.com.